Let me know when you're going to start it off. And
just started, actually. Alright guys, welcome to the grand finals. You absolutely ruined the intro, but it's okay. No big deal, man. This is Courage and Gods, and we are casting the finals of the Malaysian Dota 2 Invitational, and this is game 1. So Orange versus MiTH.Trust. They made it all the way through. MiTH.Trust making it all the way through the losers bracket. They have been eliminated from the winners bracket by Orange, so Orange is up game 1 here in the best of 5 series.
Yeah, and at the moment, Orange coming through the winner bracket are just looking very hard to beat. I don't think they've had a close game yet. I think you casted their first game with Luminous, where they absolutely dominated MYM, and we just earlier today we saw them. They've already versed MiTH. This is in fact a rematch of the winner bracket final in the grand final, and this new Orange lineup is just looking very, very scary.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I mean, there's been a lot of good teams in the tournament. Even the last set that we just watched were really, really great games. And I've just been so happy casting all these games. A lot of really cool stuff. And apparently, MiTH.Trust watching our 2v2, and they ended up banning out the Void.
Yeah, they've heard about Luminous and his awesome Void skills. Saw how Imber it was, especially going for the fast Bassi ring. And they're on the ball here with that Void ban. It's actually a bit unusual seeing Void being banned. It is one of those series which has become fairly popular in Dota 2, but it hasn't really reached the ban pool in the European scene at least. But MiTH.Trust, they've got the first pick, so they're obviously not a hero they consider worthy of being first pick, but one of those heroes that they must have. I mean, I'm sure they've trained against Orange and maybe seen them use it fairly effectively, and so far a lot of hard carries being banned out.
Yeah, I would agree. It is kind of weird seeing him get taken out like that, or taken out of the pool in the first round. I don't know if they're just trying to open up their possibilities for some other weird picks, and finally gonna see a Batrider pick. It is about damn time, dude. Yeah. Like, you can't talk a Batrider for that long in Dota 1 and just not see him, you know?
We saw him in one of the games yesterday when Orange actually used him. They had Yamata playing the Batrider in a dual lane. So it has been used at least once so far in this tournament. And it's just really fun to cast this tournament, because I've been like casting some and just watching a lot of the European tournaments, and it's the same picks and bans, the same style, like the same style of games every time, but you watch these games and it's completely different. You're rarely seeing Prophet being banned. It does get picked normally, but it's never really getting banned. You're seeing Batrider picked up quite often, being banned a lot. I've seen it banned in the first ban stage in some of these games, and it's just a whole new style of play over in Southeast Asia at the moment.
Well, MiTH.Trust going for the hero that they love, and it is a Morphling. I did see them play a Morphling in a tri-lane. Luminous exclaimed that Lackles is the best Morphling in the world, or at least one of the top players, and I would agree with him, man. He played really, really good, and it really blew my mind. It was like a couple minutes into the game, and he had already transferred like 10 strength into agility, so that he was hitting for like plus 60, just because he was so confident in his laning. It was really, really cool.
Yeah, when you put him in a strong tri-lane where you're up against maybe a side lane solo, or even if it's an easy tri-lane, that you're easy dual lane or something, you're against him, you can just transfer to Agi so you don't miss a single last hit, and it is a very powerful hero. As far as being the best morph in the world, I'd say maybe best morph outside of China, because there's just so many great morphling players in China who are famous for that hero. Looking at Orange though, they picked up the Prophet winner, and a nice little combo in itself with the Sprout plus Shackle Shot there, but two very versatile heroes. Prophet and Winrunner can both fit into almost any draft. Prophet can jungle, can solo, can dual lane. Winrunner more often than not will be put in that solo lane, whether it's middle or side lane. It is one of the better side lane solo heroes. So it's going to be interesting to see what they pick up third here before we get into the next ban stage.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how it goes out. Probably going to expect a support, like you said, versatility, and the Nature's Prophet and the Windrunner. Both, preferably Nature's Prophet on a solo is always a little bit more dangerous, because he's always going to have that mana for the TP and the Sprout, which is sometimes an issue when you're in that jungle casting a lot of Treants. But they're going to pick up a Shadow Shaman, which is surely going to be their solo mid, and he's going to be a very dominating presence, and probably going to work out pretty effectively against the Batrider. Just having the Ether Shock just do a lot of damage nuking against the Batrider is going to put him into an HP area where he doesn't necessarily feel safe about diving.
Yeah, I totally agree. Shadow Shaman can actually do fairly well against the Batrider at mid because of that, the ability to spam from far away and make it so that Batrider gets too low to actually dive tower. I was actually maybe expecting Orange to pick up a Chen there, which maybe the fact they didn't pick up Chen, maybe they are planning on putting this Prophet in the jungle. Most teams so far have used it as a solo hero, but it looks like Orange may be doing a jungle Prophet this game, and they do have a very push-oriented lineup with both the Prophet and Shadow Shaman so far. Maybe going to see MiTH.Trust pick up something like an Ancient Apparition to complete their tri-line, as Ancient Apparition great for stopping pushes with that ultimate, and also going to be very useful against the mech, which presumably will be bought by a Windrunner, and make those heroes a bit more killable. As far as these bans go, we're going to see a support hero definitely being picked up by Orange, maybe some kind of semi-carry as well. Something like a Slardar could round off their lineup very nicely, a VS Slardar lane at top, or they may go for something sort of a bit more hard carry-ish.
Well, Slardar not going to be a possibility because he has been banned by Myth, of course, but something like that would be very good. Slardar's always really, really nice just as a general stunner. You know, that 2.5 second disable at level 4, it's AoE, man. It's so valuable if you get something like a Blink Dagger. It really can swing team fights really effectively, and it has a pretty low cooldown as well. So Slardar very powerful. He generally needs some decent enough farm before he can actually end up making a big difference, but I'm kind of curious to see just what they're going to go for to pick up the Morphling. Are they going to go mass disable? Are they going to go for some kind of hard nuker? I mean, maybe that's why they banned the Void out, because they were like, I want to get a Morphling, Anti-Mage is out of the pool, that's the only other carry that's really going to shut me down.
Yeah, and with the Slardar has been banned now, as well as that Ancient Apparition, so Orange obviously not wanting to let Myth pick up that Ancient Apparition to stop their push, which, I mean, the way Orange have been playing this tournament is they've been playing very aggressive ganking, and they've changed their style. When back in Dota 1 when they're playing SMM, a lot of it was sort of based around getting their hard carry, who's normally Mushi farmed up, but now they've got Mushi playing sort of the solo roles, the ganking roles, and not relying on any hard carry. I mean, as Slardar, as mentioned earlier, was probably one of the most carry-oriented heroes they've used, and it's not really a hard carry, so they're playing some very push and gank-oriented Dota, and it's really working out well for this new team.
Charms in the chat is predicting a Venomancer and a Tidehunter on the Dire team, and I think that would work out for their favor pretty well. We do see generally when a Nature's Prophet and a Shadow Shaman get picked up in the first round that we see a Venomancer second round ban, just because people are scared of the extra pushing power by the wards. I mean, there aren't a lot of support heroes that can really push effectively, at least not like hard support heroes. Heroes like Enchantress or Chen obviously can kind of fill that support role, but someone like Venomancer would definitely round out. But they're going to pick up the Tidehunter instead, opting to go for the Beast ulti that is surely going to impact these team fights.
Yeah, and right now, Orange are looking to basically make a big fighting unit that can basically just, once they get their items up, just push in without any fear. They've got the Tide ulti to back them up. They're going to have those mech up, the Fury on Treants to tank as well, Raster wards. That's going to be a lot of pushing power, and you have to wonder what can Myth do to actually stop a push once Orange get all their items up, have all their ultimates. They've got the Pickup Puck, which will fit in nicely, but the CM, the Morphling, the Barrier, those are three heroes who can't really do much to stop a push right now. So have to worry about what MiTH.Trust is thinking with their lineup, because right now it looks to me like they've just put a ragtag group of heroes together, and I'm a bit worried about their draft at the moment.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. They really don't have that much AoE. I mean, Morphling can waveform through and then maybe replicate back, but that would be dangerous. And they're going to pick up a Lich. Lich is really, really good against hard carries, and obviously he can do spam Frost Nova, but it's not very good at AoE. And with all these push heroes, especially with Nature's Prophet, he's going to have Treants, and that's going to at least partially counter the Chain Frost. I think it's going to be really rough for Lich to get a really good ulti off this game.
Yeah, I'm not too sure how that fits into their lineup. It's definitely going to give them some very strong lanes, but as far as the mid-game's concerned, it's going to mean they're going to get pushed a lot faster, because the Lich sacrifice basically, I mean, denying your own creeps will make you get pushed faster. And their actual team fights, I don't know if Lich is going to be able to have a big impact on them. He's got the Chain Frost, but after that, he's quite limited in what he can do, and if he doesn't get off a good Chain Frost, then MiTH.Trust is going to be in a lot of trouble. They don't even have any heroes to help clear up those creeps, apart from the Puck, who does have the AoE, but none of their other heroes that great at clearing out creeps to set Lich up for a big ultimate.
And even then, if Puck uses just his orb for clearing creeps, how is he going to initiate into a team fight, you know? That's a pretty dang long cooldown on orb. I think it's like 15 seconds or something, about there. It's not short by any means. If you spam that on a creep wave, you're going to have to say, like, okay, I want to go on a creep wave and initiate, if you don't have a Blink Dagger at least, which I expect he's going to have trouble farming because they have so many push heroes. And they're going to really, really seal the deal here and go for another semi-carry push. This is very similar to something that we saw Navi do. Pick up Viper and just go mass tank and just push like crazy.
Yeah, not surprised at all by that last pick. It's probably going to see a Tide Viper at top, the Windrunner going down that bottom lane, Shadow Shaman in mid with the Prophet jungling, Prophet coming out to do some pushing and ganking when basically the opportunities arise. But this is a very, very strong, solid line that coming out from Orange. It is, I mean, as said, you can predict those lanes pretty easily, but it's just so strong, and I don't know what MiTH.Trust are going to be doing with that. They've got a number of options to do with their lanes, but any of those options strong enough to beat what Orange have set up here is what I'm asking myself.
Yeah, and they do have 4 ranged heroes as well, all of them with pretty dang good base damage. Their disables are slightly lacking. I mean, they can always get shackle shots and Rasta disables and Tide ulti, of course, but other than that, they're basically looking at trees and slow. So we'll see if they can hold this off, man. It's going to be an interesting game, that's for sure. We have a little bit of pause by Mushi, but I'm going to go over the Radiant team really quick here. MiTH.Trust. 3NU is playing, I'm sorry, that's Linu, is playing Batrider. Lekels is playing the Morphling. FFFFY is playing the Lich. We have TNK on the Crystal Maiden. And finally, ABBA playing the Puck.
And on the Dire team, glad you left me the Dire team to do. We've got Yamata playing the Viper. We've got Tidehunter played by Ice, their main support player. Winter playing the Prophet. Windrunner played by Extinct. And Mushi playing that solo mid Shadow Shaman by the looks of it. So, going to be interesting to see how they can pull off this lineup. And just going to be, Mushi looks like he is just reconnecting here.
Yeah, maybe he had an issue, like a bug, like no health bars or something like that. They figured that out pretty fast. It's amazing how naked the game looks. When you realize you can't see HP bars, you're like, how do I even play this game? It's impossible,
The first time I loaded Dota 2, when I first got my beta key, my first game, I didn't have HP bars, and I thought it was in the settings, so I'm looking through the settings for about 30 minutes.
Wow.
Like, where's the HP bar setting? And all I had to do was restart Dota 2, and I had HP bars, but I just didn't realize.
Yeah, I lucked out the first time that happened to me. I immediately asked, and somebody said, oh, you gotta restart, and I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But then I was like a level 1 hero against like a level 3, and I just got destroyed. It was because it was actually an equal lane, so it wasn't fun.
Yeah, it's happened too many times where I'll have to restart and I'll come back and just my hero's back at fountain instead of in lane, and rage ensues.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, so he has reconnected. We will be starting off the game. We'll see what any fancy movements going on. Maybe some fast aggressive warding. I mean, I'm really excited about this Batrider, honestly. His animations look amazing as well, by the way. Like, they just, man, the sticky napalm and the fire, it all looks really great.
Yeah, Batrider, I think he will become a bit more popular as the hero pool exists, because he's a strong counter to a lot of heroes that aren't in the pool already, heroes such as Lycan, and the way he is used in lineups doesn't really fit with the current big AoE burst, AoE damage sort of lineups that we're seeing coming out of Europe especially, but I think he will become more popular within time. And another pause, and looks like we are just going to be going right away though. Looking at the items, who's playing what, we're going to have, I think, Lich and CM on support, but I don't think they're going to do it. I mean, Lich CM in a tri-lane, it just doesn't seem all that effective. I think what we're more likely going to see is maybe a dual lane with that Lich. Lich going to be going into that top long lane to deny the wave, bring it back to tower. Possibly even I don't imagine they're doing a Lich solo top, but maybe the Lich and Puck at top lane with Batrider at middle, and CM supporting that Morphling at bottom lane against that Windrunner.
Yeah, Morphling going for the really standard item build. The 4 Ironwood branches double tango with that Ringer protection. He picking up the waveform, of course, and Crystal Maiden going on the bot lane. Where's she going to put her ward? It looks like she's maybe planning on doing something with it immediately, but she might run into trouble with the smoke gank from Orange. The entire 5-man team is looking for her, and they just might spot her. Are we going to see the gush? No! She's going to get into the trees, and that's going to keep her alive there. She can juke all the way back to the tower, so really lucky. Really good positioning by the Crystal Maiden, though. That was good to do. Maybe they have their times all worked out or something like that.
It's one of those situations where just definitely luck and timing is, I mean, it's completely random what time the CM, well, not completely random, I mean, sure you can know around how fast they can get there, but CM poking her head out there, if she'd gone a bit further, gone like a second later when the Tide was in position for a gush, it could have been a first blood, so definitely a bit lucky to spot that Tidehunter in smoke and then immediately go into those trees where she could hide.
Yeah, and a nice read from her. She realized they probably backed up at this point. We'll drop the ward down. It's going to give a really good vision of the jungle here next to the lane. For anyone that doesn't know, it's so nice to have this. Anybody that's soloing or even laning regularly on the spot lane is then going to be able to see any ganks coming. So Windrunner is going to be a lot more able to CS freely and actually get EXP and gold in this early game.
Yeah, and what we're actually seeing is a dual lane bottom by Orange, which is something I definitely agree with here. I mean, rather than putting the Prophet in the jungle, they're going to have a Prophet Windrunner lane up against a Morphling CM, and with the two high-ranged heroes, Prophet has really big base damage. So, I mean, Prophet and Windrunner both have big base damage. They're going to be able to stop this Morph from farming, and I think this may force Lich to come all the way bottom, because this Morphling CM lane are going to struggle.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Both of those two heroes hit really, really hard. It's going to be 254 damage heroes trying to deny against a Crystal Maiden and a Morphling. Crystal Maiden especially, really bad base damage. Mid lane, of course, is that Batrider up against the Shadow Shaman. He does have 2 stacks on him. Doesn't look like he's going on it too hard. Just a little bit more focused on CSing for now. And does Shadow Shaman know does not have a magic stick yet. Just opting for a lot of stats with some regen.
Yeah, surprised to see no magic stick there, but obviously all those branches is so cost effective. And obviously, I imagine he will turn 3 of those into that magic wand as soon as he has the gold, unless he does want to go for that fast bottle, which is also a good option. But top lane, the Lich Puck, going to do fairly well, I imagine. They've got the 2 range heroes for the harass, the Lich Sacrifice. They will be able to have a slight level advantage, but as far as farm goes, Viper should be alright to get some farm. He has got the Nether Toxin to help him last hit, so it's going to be a situation where Viper and Puck both get some decent farm. Puck actually one of those heroes that isn't that good at last hitting, so maybe a fairly good lane for the Viper, and he should do fairly well.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. And if Lich ever wants to go to the bot lane to try to help out the Morphling, all of a sudden it's going to be Puck soloing a long distance lane against a Viper. Now he can always use his orb to survive, but that doesn't mean that Viper is not going to get a lot of free hits in and end up doing a lot more damage than Puck in return. So I think if Lich ends up leaving the lane, Puck's going to have a really tough time here doing well.
Yeah, and that's the problem right now for MiTH.Trust, is that they are going to lose bottom lane. Mid lane is going to be fairly even, and I'd say top lane also fairly even, but fairly even as well. But losing that bottom lane where their hard carry is, the Morphling, that is just not a situation you want to be in. That's the key hero for them, and that putting him in the one lane, which they're going to lose, is not a situation that MiTH.Trust really want to have at the moment.
Yeah, and that's just a problem with their picks, basically. I feel like Puck was a pretty good pick, but the Viper, you know, just a really, really strong laner. He hasn't been played for a very long time, basically. I mean, everybody has known for so long how strong Viper is as a solo hero. His last hitting power, his harassment, all that stuff works out really nice. And just picking him up like that is really gonna basically puts Orange in such a good place for this early laning situation where Myth is gonna be at a disadvantage.
Yeah, and the other worry for Myth is the Prophet dual lane at bottom. Prophet can actually TP around. He can maybe back up the Shadow Shaman at mid. If Batrider wants to dive mid, suddenly Prophet TPs in, does some extra damage. Sure, he can't sprout when the Batrider's fireflying, but just 2-3 right clicks could be enough to turn around a fight at mid lane. And MiTH.Trust are going to have to be constantly wary that the Prophet can TP in, especially top lane where there is a Lich who is very vulnerable to those Prophet TP ganks as well.
Yeah, very interesting skill build from Batrider already. He's level 4. He actually picks up a Flame Break already. It's only 80 mana at level 1, so it's a little less horrible than you might think, but is he going to go for the dive? No, he's just thinking about it. Possibly to use it as a shackle interruption or something like that. I'm not quite sure, but most Batriders, we don't see it picking up that skill at all early. Yeah,
I mean, from what I've been told and heard from some players who do play Batrider quite a lot, is wow, the bottle Sobi Master goes flying in. Is that you want to get Flame Break at level 8, so you get level 4 Sticky Napalm, level 2 Firefly, and then Flame Break at level 8, and then continue to max Firefly. But I mean, obviously there are multiple builds. They do work in different ways. And finally, Lich actually leaving that top lane. He's heading towards middle lane, possibly looking for a gank on this Shadow Shaman.
And Shadow Shaman is, of course, aware of this. They did have the ward on the high ground. You can tell this just by looking at the behavior of Shadow Shaman's positioning. He's shifted down to the opposite side of the tower from where Lich is probably going to be ganking to. And this is just a really good sign of a good player who's just like, well, I know you're probably going to be there, and even if you want to dive me, I'm going to be at a hard-to-get-at location. It's going to give me a big advantage. Yeah,
at the same time, Lich will see that positioning and think, okay, he knows I'm here. They put a ward at top, Especially, yeah, I mean, based on that positioning, both players then realize what's going on. But Shadow Shaman, will know it's coming in. Needs to be careful here though, as the tower changes target. Prophet TPing in though, that's what he was counting on, and we will see First Blood goes to the Batrider as Shadow Shaman goes down. That was one of those weird situations where the tower just changed target. It was shackled the Lich as the tower was hitting Lich, and suddenly it changed to the Batrider because the Batrider drew tower aggro by, I imagine, right-clicking the Shadow Shaman, and that did keep the Lich alive.
Yeah, and I'm really surprised why that the Batrider took so long to cast that Flame Break. I thought as soon as the Shackle went down, he was going to Flame Break it. It was going to be really awesome. Maybe he was afraid of pushing the Shadow Shaman away or something, but either way, they got the kill, and nobody died despite both heroes getting pretty dang low, but it's absolutely worth the trade. Spend a little regen to get the XP and the gold.
Yeah, and Prophet TPing all the way mid for an unsuccessful gank is going to give Morphling some time to catch up on some farm at bottom. We do see Morphling farming alright, has just the 12 CS though, and right now Orange with about 12 to 15 CS on their 3 main farming heroes in each lane.
Alright, Lich is on the high ground once again. Level 4 just has that Frost Nova. Shadow Shaman, 720 HP, plus he has boots, and he finally does have a magic stick. That's going to keep him moderately survivable. Puck on the top lane, level 3. He's been a little bit underfarmed. Viper has 2-level advantage with a lot of regen, Ring of Health, and a Ring of Regen. There's the Gush. Puck is going to have to orb on out there. There's the Phase Shift as well, and he will get through. Is Nature's Prophet going to get the disable? Unfortunately, it's pretty late. Unfortunately, he didn't get there quite fast enough. If they could have sprouted immediately after Puck finished orbing, that could have been a kill there.
Yep, and Puck and Lich going back in, those Prophet and Viper both taking some tower hits, going to get them fairly low. And that's going to be a good situation for MiTH.Trust, where that failed gank attempt, more wasted time for Orange. And MiTH.Trust doing fairly well with their lane so far. Especially considering Shadow Shaman, he can't control the game without that bottle. And the fact that he did die to First Blood, he is now under-leveled, so he's going to struggle to roam around, gank, and push down towers with that ulti. And not having a bottle is really going to hurt his ability to spam his lane.
We're going to see a kill on the Windrunner here. Morphling just auto-attacking. Will he get the waveform? Nice dodge by the Windrunner, but she's just going to sacrifice herself the tower. Split the gold evenly instead of giving it to Morphling, so nice decision making. She knew she was not going to get a kill, or she was not going to survive that, and the only option was Morphling eventually getting that kill from the Crystal Maiden. So good decision making, but nice play by Morphling to get that kill.
Yep, and Mushi picking up an illusion rune actually baits a Firefly out of the Batrider, but not gonna be too much for him to worry about, as Batrider is just gonna heal up here, I imagine, and look to maybe go gank one of the side lanes, because the mid lane is quite hard to gank. Shadow Shaman with the 2 disables is not an easy kill, but he could TP top, Firefly over trees, and catch the Viper by surprise, or even the Tidehunter. Tidehunter only level 4, not gonna have that Ravage for a while now.
And Tidehunter with the interesting skill build, opting to get 2 levels of stats at 2 and 4 instead of going for something like Anchor Smash or the armor. And he will Gush on the Lich. Nature's Prophet getting there on time, and they will tree in the Lich. He does not have any tangles, but Batrider's coming in. Who does he want to go for? He's going to ulti on the Viper. Viper taking good damage. He also wants the Tidehunter. Will they be able to? Yes, indeed. Tidehunter goes down. Viper going to absolutely survive here. Still regenning up. No boots on him, but Batrider is going to go swing back to his lane after a successful EXP gain.
Middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, and Batrider just wanted to get everyone there, ulting the Viper. It did stop the Viper from attacking, but making sure the Tidehunter did go down, that he wouldn't have actually killed the Tidehunter unless he did chase him down with that Firefly. And mid lane, Shadow Shaman should be fine here. The Firefly is on cooldown, and CM unable to go in because of those wards. Just going to make sure that T1 tower doesn't go down. And a not so much, I don't know about wasted ultimate by Shadow Shaman. He did do a fair bit of damage to that mid lane and forced 3 heroes to come defend it, but an unsuccessful tower push.
Nature's Prophet looking out big time, going to spot a regen rune and drop in a Sprout as well. He's a little worried about the heroes spotting him out there. If they would have put some disables down, he might have been in some trouble, especially because he doesn't have any boots yet. Batrider doing some pressure on the mid lane. Looks like Shadow Shaman just getting his bottle back with his magic wand, so he will be healing up from that. There's actually a lot of couriers on the map flying to the bot lane there. And how is the Morphling doing? That's what I want to know. He's got his Ring of Health and possibly something else. It's a Void Stone. He's got his fast Perseverance. Doesn't need boots, man. All he wants is more waveforms.
Yeah, so he's going to be going for that fast Lincoln Seer, which is a fairly strong item build, but the weakness of it is that the Lincolns is easy to break. There's so many items in the game and so many sort of spells you can just use to break it. You can get a medallion, you can get an urn, and then they have, I mean, obviously you don't want to be wasting any of Shadow Shaman's disables or the Shackle Shot to break it, but there's just, it's not it's not really going to be all that reliable as a spell blocker. Meanwhile, top lane, Viper takes out Lich and does go down.
Wow, Crystal Maiden actually has 0 levels of aura here, rocking 3 Crystal Novas and 2 Frostbites. And will they be able to pick off the Prophet? Oh my gosh, what a good play. Tide is going to clean up is the best way to describe how he just finished the Crystal Maiden. But that was still really good play. I really like how Crystal Maiden just is like, you know what? I don't want an aura this game. I just want to dominate ganks as a level 5 support hero.
It's something he's just actually got 1 point in aura at level 6. It's something I have seen a few players doing. I believe it was the Team Shakira, their CM player, basically just levels up Nova and Frostbite. They get maybe 1 point in aura, because 1 point in aura is like a free Sobi mask, but as you get into the mid to late game, you don't really need the aura because you get heroes with arcane boots. I mean, the aura just becomes a bit redundant. You're better off having those nukes. And the only thing, I mean, basically they'll get maybe 1 point in aura early, but no, they just want those nukes. They want that killing power.
And there's going to be another gank attempt on the Windrunner there. We're just going to wait till the Windrunner gets close again. Maybe do away from nope. Instead, Crystal Maiden going to do a little bit of creep stacking or just regular pulling. 1 TP to the top lane. It's going to be Puck going back to his lane. He's level 7. He does have his int treads, opting for treads over arcane. We've seen a little bit more resurgence and arcane preference over Puck, where in the past he would almost always get treads. And it does give him a good mana pool and a little bit better mana per bottle charge if he ends up doing that correctly.
And the Batrider with the Invis rune is at top. I don't think Orange know he's there though, and ulti on the Viper. Viper with the Puck nukes coming in, the silence, there's the Ravage, going to come just in time, and Viper's going to turn this around, I think maybe. The Firefly no will finish him off, and Puck with a well-timed ultimate, and Windrunner TPing in, unable to do too much to help, as well as the Prophet. So a lot of Orange heroes are top. This Batrider does need to get out, as there's 4 heroes top for Orange, or 3, 1 already dead. Shadow Shaman still at mid. Shadow Shaman going to be trying to finish off that tier 1 tower, but this fight at top, not... Ooh, is it over? Tidehunter needs to get out before he cops another nuke, and it looks like it will just be the Viper who goes down there.
And Shadow Shaman does get the last tower hit on the mid lane. He is now level 8, opting... He has a Belt of Giant Strength. Is he going to get Power Treads? I haven't seen a Shadow Shaman not get Arcane in a very long time, but on the meantime, the Morphling on the bot lane is going to take a tower here. If he can get the last hit, that is going to be huge. No, he does not get it. One of the creeps gets it. Maybe some hero catapult, but he's going to actually get a Clarity Potion from the Crystal Maiden. He does have his boots finished, and 1,100 gold in the bank at 11 minutes, man. He is farming so good.
Yeah, and right now, if MiTH.Trust, all they need is to get that Batrider Blink Dagger up in the next minute or two, get that Linken's on Morph, and they are going to be in a great position here. The worry for Orange is that, sure, they've got this nice pushing lineup, but they do not have their items up there, under-farmed. Looking at this Prophet, who just has a Gauntlet of Strength and Ob Swords. I mean, Prophet is so poor right now. Shadow Shaman's having a tough time in mid lane, has been forced by Strength Treads and a Bracer, and even the Viper with Vanguard doesn't have boots yet, does have enough gold for those boots now, but isn't farming all that well, and he was in that safe top lane.
Yeah, it's really not looking that good for Orange. Like you said, everybody pretty underfarmed. Windrunner switching lanes, picking up some Arcane Boots, so on the bright side, somebody is going to be carrying those. Viper now looking like he's ganking with the Tidehunter, but once again, he doesn't have any boots. Smoke of Deceit being casted. He's very survivable, that's for sure. Nether Toxin maxed first. He has his ulti as well, and Tide gets spotted by the Batrider, but Batrider realizes that somebody is invisible. There's a gank on the top lane, and it's going to be on the Windrunner. The nukes, will they be too much? It is indeed. Nature's Prophet ulti coming through as well. There's the Gush on the Puck. Is he going to burn the ulti? No, there's a cooldown for Tidehunter ulti, so no kill there. And Lich, most likely, no, Lich also going to survive. I cannot believe this. Morphling is around. He's only got 800 HP. And that's going to be the disengage of that team fight. I'm surprised more heroes didn't die there.
Yeah, that was such a smart TP by that Puck. Shadow Shaman was coming in with a haste rune, and Puck was almost going to be surely gone, but the TP there, right in front of Tide, it's one of those things where you, after getting Gush, if you just TP right in his face, it's almost just rude, just saying, oh, yeah. I'm just going to TP away, you can't actually kill me.
Or at least focus him, make him use his ultimate on a solo hero, which is almost always going to be a semi-bad trade.
Yeah, and the wards do get dropped, but right now the tower is hitting them as well as the CM with the ranged attack, but CM needs to be careful because Shadow Shaman does... Well, Shadow Shaman actually he does have mana, has the magic wand which he can use, and Tidehunter going in. We're going to see Windrunner finish off this CM with one more attack. Tidehunter actually getting the kill. Tidehunter getting taken down to 400 HP though, but this tier 1 tower will go down. despite the lift being used.
I really liked Tidehunter's control there. He was just scaring the entire enemy team into thinking that he was going to pop that Ravage, and he just didn't do it. He just slapped him for the kill, and he was absolutely content with that. Now he's sitting in the side over here. He does have Observer Wards. There's the power shot. Are they going to go on the Morphling? If he can get the stun off, Morphling may go down, but I feel like he's probably going to wait for him. Yeah, indeed. I really like Ice's control right here. He's just not blowing his ultimate at the first option. He's just really being careful and calculated, and this is going to mean that they can actually still have a good teamfight skirmish in the next like minute or two on the top lane.
Yeah, although that gank from those little trees didn't work, that was just really clever to see. I mean, they just pushed down a tower, they backed off a little, knew the Morphling was going to push up, and if Morphling had come with the support heroes, the Puck, maybe one more, a big Ravage could have set up a huge fight for the Windrunner Shackle Shot and the Prophet as well to get some kills. But meanwhile, MiTH.Trust have got the Batrider Blink Dagger up, so they're going to be trying to use that to pick up some kills of their own and maybe start pushing down some towers, as they've only got that one at bottom so far.
Yeah, and the Blink Dagger is just such a really good power item, and very interesting. He's just sitting on one Firefly level, not very concerned about doing tons of AoE damage. It's going to give him more burst, and there's the Puck ulti on Windrunner. He's trying to stay alive. There's the Tide ulti, big burst on the Morphling, but he is strength transferring, and it's not going to matter. He's not going to go down. And Crystal Maiden gets the last hit on the Tidehunter. A nice double kill there for MiTH.Trust.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to really help get them some more gold, increase their lead, and Morphling going to easily regen up a bit with that Perseverance. He has 1,300 gold and has picked up power treads now, and this top tier 1 tower should be going down shortly.
Nice creep wave clear by the Morphling waveform. He is sitting a little more strength, 20 points more than his agility, and he's going to transfer that down just a little bit, healing back up slowly. If he can last at this tower, he's going to be sitting so good, getting close to that ultimate orb. I think he will be able to get this. Yeah, his allies are letting it go. Oh, he messed it up. That is a rough loss. 250 gold just completely gone.
Yeah, but I mean, when it actually gets taken by the Radiant, each hero gets more than the normal shared amount, so I'm not actually sure if there's much gold loss. It just means it gets spread out more evenly.
Oh, really? Does it do that? I didn't realize that. So
I've never actually calculated it, but when Radiant gets the tower kill, you get more than just the normal 200 gold.
Yeah, I always see like 240 or something like that.
I believe it is adjusted so that I'm not sure the exact numbers. It's something I've always been interested in. I've just never actually checked. Yep. We need Luminous. I'm sure Luminous would know that. That's one of those sort of interesting tidbits which he'd know all about.
Yep. That would be cool to know. Either way, though, it would be nice to have that extra gold go to the Morphling. No different than letting your hard carry get those kills, or those kills on enemy heroes.
Yep, and Morphling now with 2k gold, going to be picking up that ultimate orb in any second now, and on his way to Lincoln. So if you can get that up around 20 minutes in, MiTH.Trust are going to be in a great position here.
Alright, looks like the MiTH.Trust looking to take another tower on the top lane. In the meantime, Morphling just solo farming the lane, which is a really cool little strategy that they're utilizing here. Morphling isn't spending any time somewhere else farming while 4 push. He's just farming a lane that is about to be pushed, and as a result, everything is ready to go. They're actually going to get a TP back. Blink Dagger on the Puck. He's going to TP to the bot lane, chase down the Nature's Prophet, who is definitely under farm. He's going to try to TP out, but it isn't enough. The burst damage is too much, and now Windrunner in a lot of trouble. She doesn't have any tank items here, but she will use Windrun. Going to be trying to escape from this, and they need Flame Break, and there it is. That's it. Windrunner's going to go down.
Yeah, so that was a really nice couple of kills there, but meanwhile, top lane, Orange taking the opportunity to go in on top. They knew there was TPs back bottom. They knew it was safe to initiate on top. At max, there was only 3 heroes, and 3 heroes they were. They pick off the Morphling, a huge kill for them, a very important one with the Shadow Shaman wards and disables. So Orange did get a small consolation prize for that loss at bottom.
Yeah, that's too bad. I didn't actually catch that team fight at all. I was watching the bot lane. Crystal Maiden now going to get caught by the Nature's Prophet. He will ulti this as well. And Ty looking for a gush. He also has his ulti, but I don't think he wants to waste this. He's going to gush and then maybe back up. Yeah, I know they're a little upset about that one. Could have gotten that kill, but unfortunately Crystal Maiden just running a little bit too fast there.
Yep, and we do see Prophet picking up an early first item earn, so he's going to be going through using those to just heal up between ganks and do some added damage when they are in fact ganking. But as I said, Prophet very underfarmed here, which, I mean, considering Tidehunter's sort of, you did consider the main support, but Tidehunter has a couple braces, boots, and he's actually got some really nice items there, and Winter just not quite getting any farm at that bottom lane, and only just now, recently, has been doing some neutraling of his own.
Windrunner on the mid lane, sitting on a headdress of rejuvenation, will be going towards that mechanism, but once again, another underfarmed hero on the Dire team. I mean, if we look at the gold graph, it is in an advantage of the Radiant. At one point there, at a little bit past 14 minutes, it was getting very equal, but after these last couple tower kills on the top lane, including the 2 kills on those bot lanes by those support TPs, they ended up getting a pretty good advantage, and they are definitely outfarming their opponents right now. If we look at the CS scores as well, we can see how everybody is doing 100 CS on Morphling. He just notched over. He has 0 kills yet, but 3 assists in that 1 death. But even still, he's definitely farming very well.
Yeah, and Lakel's has played Morphling so many times. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Batrider finds the Viper with an ultimate, but there's the Tide Ravage. Viper's just going to fight back. This Batrider needs to finish off the Viper. He does so, goes down to those Shadow Shaman wards, and we will see Puck getting very low. Can Shadow Shaman get some stables off? There's a Gush, needs a couple more hits. There's a Shackle Shot, and Shadow Shaman, well, actually the creeps actually finish off the Puck, so 2 kills for MiTH.Trust there. A big loss just for that Viper kill.
Yeah, definitely. Puck did a nice job phase shifting the Tidehunter Ravage and then coming in and doing the burst damage to pick off the Viper. Despite him being semi-tanky, I think, yeah, Treads, Ogre Club, and a Vanguard, and he still ended up getting picked off there. Nature's Prophet in the jungle with the Sylvie Mask, probably going to go for a Medallion, I'm guessing, and Windrunner there as well. Still no Buckler, man. So many of these semi-carries and heroes that should be farmed just don't have the items.
Yeah, I thought Windrunner was actually getting some decent farm at bottom, but looks like the Morphling CM just doing a bit better, largely because of the Prophet left the lane to go gank. Actually had some unsuccessful ganks. If those ganks had worked for Orange, then it'd be a different situation where the Prophet would have some decent items, they'd maybe have an extra tower, Windrunner would still be probably about the same level of farm, but Orange just not quite right on their timings, and the unsuccessful ganks is going to hurt. Wow, Lich has a mech as well? Where is this coming from?
Yeah, what has he been doing all game? I'm pretty sure he's just been spamming Frost Blast. It's got to be from towers, though. I mean, they have 2 towers picked up. That's a lot of gold getting towards those major items, and he has nothing else. But Crystal Maiden obviously been warding as well, so he's pretty much just been using the scraps of farm to purchase up the mechanism. Here's the very short-range smoke being utilized. Puck will be blinking on this, and yes, sloppy blink, or sloppy ulti, but immediately Windrunner gets picked off there.
Yeah, a lot of ultimates used for that. Puck, Batrider, and Lich ultimates all used, so they can't really take this fight, even though Tide has no Ravage. When, I mean, just because the other team has no ultimates, if you have no ultimates, well, generally it's not going to go your way if you are pushing into that tower, and that will be another kill picked up, but it was a very expensive kill, having 5 heroes commit to it and using that smoke and not even getting a tower out of it.
That's always really rough when you pop the smoke and you're like, oh, there's a guy that close to me, I guess we'll just kill him. And you go after him anyways. It's kind of a downer, but oh well. They still get the kill anyways, and they did spend a lot of mana on it.
A kill they could have gotten without even using that smoke, but that's, needless to say, still worth getting whatever kills you can. And we are going to see, where is this Morphling? Has he finished his Lincolns? Yes, he has. It's flying out to him, and this Morphling getting very, very farmed. Whereas, I mean, Viper obviously not really a hard carry, more a semi-carry. Viper actually blows his ultimate here on this Morphling, and I mean, obviously that Lincoln did block the ultimate, and Morphling just going to instantly TP the hell out, back to Fountain.
Yeah, just to play it safe there. I thought he was in a lot of danger. Whenever a Morphling waveforms on a Viper, Viper goes, oh, I'm going to try to get a kill, and then he ulties, but luckily he did have the Lincolns. I don't know if he was playing ahead for that, probably was, being such a good player, and once that Viper ulti gets disabled, he doesn't have to worry too much about getting killed. But nice Shackle Shot on the mid lane. It's going to be on the Lich. Are we going to see an ulti? Yes, indeed. Are they going to be able to pick him off? They do. No Chain Frost and a Ward Trap on Crystal Maiden. Such good play there by the Dire team, but there's the Shackle on the Shadow Shaman, but he did have BKB, so he didn't take much damage there at all.
And Lich immediately buying back to come to this fight, although he doesn't have ultimate. Shadow Shaman needs to be careful, needs to get out. Puck, Bat, Morphling finish him off, and Windrunner going to be the next one, chased down by this sticky napalm, and he does have a TP, but the Flame Break is up, and the Shackle Shot not gonna hit, and Morphling and Batrider do take out that Windrunner.
That was a really good attempt at the Windrunner to survive there, trying to get the 2 Shackle Shots up the hill. People always line up so nicely. That pinging is not annoying at all. People line up nicely when they're chasing, and good attempt to try to get out of there. But Morphling ends up picking up that kill really effectively, and a really good start of a team fight there for the Dire team, but unfortunately things just went not their way, and Lich ended up dying as well, which is kind of interesting, buying back and immediately dying afterwards.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not sure what Lich was thinking. I mean, if you don't have ultimate and you're going to TP into a fight, sure, he can throw a couple Frost Novas, but it didn't actually have much of an impact there, and it is just going to eat into his bank, and as a support Lich, you're not going to have all that much in terms of gold, so better off saving that when you can.
Alright, looks like Viper going in the top lane. 2,400 gold on him. He's getting very close to his Black King bar. Still needs 400 or 300 if I'm doing my math right. 400 more gold, and then he will have that BKB finished. And that's going to make actually a very big impact on the game. Batrider can obviously ulti through the Black King bar, which is generally what Batrider is picked up for, is to counter Black King bar heroes. But other than that, that's really the only thing that's going to be working in their favor against that Viper until Morphling picks up maybe a Manta or another damage item and is able to just right-click the Viper down.
Yeah, the issue is as this gets into the late, well, towards the late game, Morphling's just going to get more and more farmed. If he can get his second, third big item up, I don't know if the Dire have the heroes that can actually beat a Morphling, but they have got some really nice disables in both the Windrunner Shackle Shot, the Shadow Shaman with his 2 disables, a Tide Ravage, and I'm assuming Prophet will be heading towards a Sheep Stick as his next item. And with the way the game works, when you have a Prophet, your other 4 heroes will often be ganking and Prophet just farming and TPing in last. Sure, it started off as a support Prophet, but he's going to start getting a lot of farm as his teammates do look for some kills. Meanwhile, mid lane, Batrider blinks into a certain death.
That was
all
weird.
Alone. Team backup was not going to be there in time, and Batrider getting a bit overzealous.
It definitely did. Tidehunter's actually very tanky and farmed, and he basically blinked within tower range, thinking he was going to ult the Tidehunter, and then there were 2 other hard disables there, Rasta and the Windrunner, and then they just nuked him down and he died, and that was it. So big mistake by Batrider, and this may cost him this tower in the mid lane as the Shadow Shaman drops his wards.
Yeah, I don't think this can actually be defended. Morphling is just going to be pushing away at bottom, not too worried. Well, I mean, maybe worried about, but not too concerned about middle because he can't actually do anything to really help out. He's got no mana anyways. He's going to have to TP back to Fountain, and he's not even going to get this bottom tier 2 tower of his own as Windrunner does TP back. Windrunner now with enough gold for that mech.
And Shadow Shaman gets the last hit on the tower with the wards, which is always pretty big. No denies went through. TP of the Morphling onto the top lane. He's up to 1,900 gold. And very, very agility heavy, sitting at 1k HP. It's always important to check its HP regularly throughout the game just to see how confident he is and whether or not he's going to die. And he does have to be very careful when he's fighting a Shadow Shaman, man. Those disables are so powerful.
No, absolutely. And what I'm really liking the way Orange have been playing. Last game as well, they did this when they picked the DK Slather. They're just really making sure their heroes are hard to kill, tanking up. I mean, Tidehunter with 2 braces and a Vitality booster. Shadow Shaman went first item BKB, didn't even go for a Blink Dagger or Arcane Boots, went Strength Threads as well. And we do also see BKB and Vanguard with Strength Threads on Viper. So really Orange, their focus is getting tanky items and then just out-farming their opponents, knowing that they can't be killed in a mid to late game team fight. So this Morph is going to have to get, I mean, even after once he has Manta style, he's not going to be doing a whole lot of damage to these Dire heroes. Yeah,
that's definitely true. And depending on how Viper does in the upcoming team fights and in his farm, we'll see what he goes for. I hope he gets a major damage item. Even something like a Butterfly wouldn't be too horrible, but I'd love to see maybe a Black King bar in preference. I don't know, he could always get more tanky, but they do need something to shut down the Morphling. And based on his farm so far, there's no way that they're going to be able to completely shut down the ball that is Morphling.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to struggle to actually kill and take out this Morphling, but it's come mid. Well, we are already in the mid game, but I think in the next sort of 5-10 minutes, we will see Orange looking to take out Roshan, finding an opportunity there. As we do see Batrider blink in, grab the Viper, then force out, but Viper just throws on that BKB, turns around, and is going to just fight his way out. Prophet is there as well. Batrider goes down to a power shot, and MiTH.Trust need to be careful to not lose any more heroes here, as Orange on the front foot here, going to be looking to maybe pressure this tier 3 middle tower.
Yeah, another big mistake from the Batrider. I didn't catch the entire initiation, but you know, getting picked off once again. The orb is going to be used to slow down that push. 10-second cooldown left on that. Another ward on the high ground from the Tidehunter, and I think they're thinking about it. Even the Morphling backing up to buy TP Scroll, he's going to have to go back to base. His mana is just a little bit too low. And they're actually all going to back up. They're going to go for the Roshan at this point. 24-second cooldown left over for Batrider. Are we going to see the Serpent wards as well? Nature's Prophet's coming in. He's going to absolutely grab some tanking units. And there we go. Roshan going to drop very soon here, especially with the medallion from the Nature's Prophet. Oh my god, Shadow Shaman BKB'd. Oh my god.
I'm like, why is Shadow Shaman gold? No, we just use BKB. And really, really have to hope there's no team fight in the next sort of minute or so, as he won't have that BKB, and it will mean that his next BKB is 8 seconds instead of 9 seconds, which generally doesn't matter, but every now and then, as it does get closer to a 5-second BKB, it does become a bit of an issue.
That is really unfortunate. That's like one of those, oh my god, I just made a giant mistake moments. Tidehunter, man, the Dire team was really in a good position though. With Tidehunter with an invisible rune, if they would have fought that, it would have been, I think, pretty one-sided. Tidehunter actually maxing out Anchor Smash before Gush, very interesting skill build. But the Radiant team would have eaten an entire Tide ulti that they wouldn't have seen coming, and a big Anchor Smash. Even dropping the debuff, it's something that you shouldn't forget about. Reduces your damage by 40% for 6 seconds. That can really make a big difference in a team fight when you hit a lot of heroes with it.
Yeah, maxing out Anchor Smash is definitely a good idea because it does get a shorter cooldown as well. It's a 4-second cooldown. You can spam that so easily. What I just can't understand is not maxing out Gush. I mean, obviously level 3 to level 4 Gush, they're quite similar, but I mean, why not level it up? Why not get that extra damage and extra armor reduction? But obviously he's got his own ideas of how to play the hero, and he is getting very, very tanky. He's going to have that Vanguard up soon, and just quite interested to see. He hasn't actually got Kraken Shell because he may be getting it. If he does finish that Vanguard, then I can understand why he doesn't have Kraken Shell, because it doesn't stack with items that provide damage blocks, such as Vanguard.
Yeah, but usually when I play Tidehunter, I think the best item or the best skill build to go if he's going for this max damage or max HP build is just pick up 1 level of Kraken Shell, because you still get that that passive. If you take 600 damage, it removes all of your stuns. Like all of a sudden, bam, I can ulti. You know, you need 1 level at least, in my opinion, just to get that. It's unlikely he'll die in a chain stun situation, but I think that 1 skill point into that Kraken Shell just to get that ability is worth it. And then pick up your Vanguard, you'll still have damage block, you'll still have tons of HP, you'll be really hard to kill, and from there just max out your stats, pretty much.
Well, I think part of the reason he hasn't got that Kraken Shell is because generally you want it against sort of heavy disable lineups, heavy sort of silence lineups, which, looking at this Radiant team, they haven't got much in terms of disable. They've only got the Batrider ultimate and the Puck silence. I mean, they haven't got a huge amount of burst damage. They can't really pick off the Tidehunter, basically because also the fact that he's 1800 HP. Generally, you'll see Tidehunters going for an early point if you're up against this Dire team. You'd want to get a point in Kraken Shell with the disables with Windrunner, Shadow Shaman. You'd need it.
Yeah, that's
but
definitely
with
true.
the way this game's going, I don't actually think he needs that Kraken Shell.
Alright, looks like the Viper picking up a Yasha. He's going to be going for a Manta this game, I assume. I'd be really surprised if he went for SNY. A lot of smoked up heroes. That is Windrunner. She's sitting on Arcane Mech, possibly going to go for a Pipe next, or just sit on the Planeswalker's Cloak, which is understandable. Shadow Shaman does have his Blink Dagger now, so we're going to see a really big team fight coming out of the Dire team. Even a big blue circle on the map. They are just calling things out, apparently communicating. I don't know how close their computers are at the LAN center, but this is like the most pinging I've ever seen in a game before.
Yeah, I was just about to say, the amount of pinging going on me, this suggests to me it's either really loud there, or they don't want their opponents to hear them talking, so possibly it's... I'd imagine it's the latter, that they MiTH.Trust are nearby. I think that it's being played on the stage, so maybe MiTH.Trust are actually nearby, and they don't want to yell anything too important and just communicate through pings.
That's an interesting skill to develop as a pro-level player, apparently. Who is in the jungle up here? Barretter's up there, man, and a Morphling pushing now.
It's definitely possible. It's just one of those situations where you ping something, it's saying, I see this, make sure you guys see this as well. If there's something important going on the map that you think your teammates may have missed, you just ping it.
Alright, Morphling waveforming away. He does not want to get killed. He does have his Manta style completed, so he can definitely just drop towers if they end up pushing somewhere else. Lich gonna grab the sacrifice, just about to max out on Frost Armor. Rasta with gonna grab a double damage and gonna back up. And no, actually Puck going on him. He's gonna pop the ulti. He's gonna BKB. Very nicely done by the Rasta. And he does get the Hex off on the Batrider. Will he get the blink? He needs 1 second. There it goes. Nicely done by Shadow Shaman. He's gonna escape. Absolutely worth the BKB there. You know, it sucks that he had to burn a cooldown for it, but absolutely great escape there by him.
That was really nice by Mushi, and very, very impressive control of his hero.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Blink cooldown, man, it is so scary. Take 1 point of damage, it's over, you know. But he got it off. Batrider didn't get the attack off, and he ends up blinking away.
And right now, MiTH.Trust, they're going to be banking a lot on this Morphling to carry them. Morphling does have that Manta-style finish, has 700 gold on top of that, so not a whole lot. But I have a feeling he's going to have to get at least one more big item up before he does start dealing some serious damage in these team fights. And by that point, you're going to be seeing some very hard-to-kill heroes, as well as a lot of disables, and basically some nice little teamwork and coordination coming out of Orange, which is going to make it very hard for Morphling to have a big impact on these fights.
Yeah, what do you think he's going to get next for an item? Black King Bar, or maybe something awesome like an Ethereal?
I mean, initially I was thinking Ethereal Blade or Butterfly, but looking at this Dire team and the way these fights are going, he almost has to get a BKB, which you spend all that gold on the Lincolns and then you end up getting a BKB anyways. That's why Lincolns is a very expensive first item. I mean, you could almost just say go for a BKB bottle, treads and wand as your starting items, just skipping the Lincolns altogether, which used to be the popular build coming out of the Chinese Morphling players, because of how easy Lincolns is to counter. But he's going to need more damage, which you don't get from Lincolns. But meanwhile, mid lane, we do see Puck gets caught, disabled. The Adaptive Strike actually keeps the Puck, keeps Puck alive, and the Tide Ravage going to hit a few, but the Lich ultimate gets wasted on a Tide Hunter, doesn't bounce at all, and Prophet gets a TP in, but does not find too much from that, and Puck going to go down.
Yeah,
pretty much
the entire Radiant team just backing up there and deciding not to fight, and Puck was like, I want this kill. Ends up getting picked off as a result of being in the center of 5 heroes. I'm not too surprised on that. Tider does have his Vanguard finish, so he's regenning pretty adequately, and Orange just going to farm up the Radiant jungle right now, so at the very least, MiTH.Trust is at a little bit of disadvantage. Where did Morphling just go? Oh, he was still there. I thought he left the map. But he's level 18 now, 1500 gold in the bank, and he's going to get closer to his next major item.
Yep, and Viper, who is also just about to hit level 18, is just about to finish off his Manta style, has BKB and treads Vanguard as well. So a lot of damage coming out of Viper, but more importantly, hard to kill. A nice sort of pushing tank hero, and that Manta style will add a lot of pushing power as well.
A little bit of rune control going on the top rune. It's going to be a haste on Nature's Prophet. Nothing that Crystal Maiden's going to be able to do about this. He does get sprouted, though. This could be the end of Crystal Maiden. The Shackle Shot doesn't land, just a little bit late there, and the Power Shot goes through. A little bit of lag happening. I don't know if that's you, too.
No, I got that as well. That would be the server.
Crystal Maiden actually TP's out of that. Really nicely done, though.
Yep. Wow, I just went into console, typed ping, and the players in the game have 400 MS. You and me have 800 to 900 MS. I'm not sure if that... I think that's just during the spike. It's now gone back down, so it's back down to 50 MS. I'm over at 550 MS because that's what I get on these Singapore servers.
Gotcha.
But
dude, I'm scared about these pings.
I'm about to say I might take my headset off for a second here.
Guys, I'm just warning you all right now. Here comes. Here comes. Oh, I hate that sound.
Every time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Warriors of the wood.
All right.
One sound effect that they haven't quite fixed yet.
Yeah, definitely true. Look at all the wards, dude. There are so many wards in this game. They are really going crazy. They definitely want to know where the enemy team is, because losing a game is going to make a really big impact. Orange wants to pull out a win here. If they get one win, they are one game away from finishing the best of 5. So it is so important in games this close. How is it 15-13 at 35 minutes? That is crazy, man. But it's so close. They really, really need to win every game possible.
Yeah, and if you get up, if Orange is suddenly up 2-0 in a best of 5 series, it's just so hard for MiTH.Trust to come back. Having to win 3 games in a row, that really is a lot of pressure and a big ask for them. So definitely MiTH.Trust need to get this Morphling farm, need to stage some form of comeback here, as they are slowly losing a few more towers. And despite MiTH.Trust being up by a couple kills, I definitely think they're behind here.
Yeah, what is the gold difference? I haven't actually checked this out. 3k is the difference. The Dire team slowly getting advantage, surprisingly. Possibly because of a lot of those pickoffs, you know? Like, how many times did we see just, like, Batrider just suicide, essentially, in confusing fashion?
And more importantly, all these tower kills, because right now, it's 5 towers to 2. And basically, a tower kill is about 1 to 1.5k gold, so that gold difference is entirely towers. If it wasn't for the towers, MiTH.Trust actually have more farm.
Oh, so many pings on the map.
And it looks like they are continually lagging every now and then. So
they're not
some
updating the servers or
this
something.
No, as someone playing from Australia who's actually played on these Southeast Asian servers, these Malaysian and Singapore servers are not that stable. They they do have some issues at the moment, and that's why I play on the US servers generally. But hopefully it's nothing too bad. This has been the first I've heard of this the entire tournament, so it's gone well so far.
Here it comes. Cover your ears. Oh, great. They can pause again and then do more pinging. Alright, the wards are popped on the high ground. There is the lightning as well, trying to take out the tower. It's gonna be a free tower. Nobody's here to defend this, and all of a sudden they get another advantage to their name. Shadow Shaman getting another last hit on a tower. How many has he killed now? It's probably pretty ridiculous. And we'll see that graph jump a little bit once the numbers get adjusted. But Morphling at 3,800 gold. Possibly gonna sell his magic stick here and pick up Eagle Horn, perhaps?
I'm going to go with Eaglehorn, but no, it's actually a Reaver, so he's going for a pure tank build. Although, I mean, you can basically tank anyways with that stat convert. That's why, I mean, that's why generally you'd see something like a Butterfly instead of a Heart if he is in fact going for a Heart. But maybe going to go for a Satanic, so he can convert a lot of points into agility and go for a Satanic, give him ridiculous attack speed, and then basically lifesteal a lot as well. But if you're going for a Satanic, normally you will get that Helm of the Dominator before getting that Reaver, so I mean, it kind of makes me think he's going for a Heart, which I have to question, because you may as well get a Butterfly. You get the evasion, you get the attack speed, and you can just convert more points into strength, so that would have otherwise been an Angie.
Yeah, it's definitely a weird item choice. I mean, I've seen pubs do that before. I don't think I've ever seen a professional level player go down that route. He will have the regen on the bright side, so that's basically what he's doing. He's trading the evasion and the attack speed for that beast regen. You know, that's what he's trading. And, you know, he can pretty much convert all of his strength into agility. He's going to have ridiculous amounts of armor, attack speed, and damage. But he could get a little bit more if he decided to go for the Butterfly, so.
Yep, no, but definitely, I mean, he just needs some form of big item before they can actually fight. And we are going to be, once again, dealing with mass pings. This game has, I mean, as far as pings go, this has been the most pingy game I've seen in a long time.
Such a sound. I'm gonna like wake up in the middle of the night and just hear that sound and be terrified.
Yeah. And right now, MiTH.Trust, they're basically, I mean, as I said, they didn't defend that tier 2 tower. It's a free tier 2 tower, because right now, they know they're behind. They know they can't really fight, so they're just going to wait for the last minute possible before they do try and fight, which is going to be at their Raxes. They're not going to take a team fight unless it's at their Raxes, or unless Morphling gets another couple of items and they find a gank where they have a numbers advantage. But otherwise, there's no need for them to fight a 5v5 fight at a tier 2 tower.
And unfortunately, man, getting too much lag here, it's really unfortunate. It's been really good so far. I haven't had more than maybe one pause in like the 4 or 6 games that I casted. So it's pretty peculiar that this is going on.
Yep, and I mean, they're obviously, I believe you can save and load these games, so if they do have a different server that is possible to use, I mean, it's just being played online, so they could try a different server, well, maybe one of the Singapore servers, since I imagine this is a Malaysia server, or even if they are desperate, try one of the US West servers, which is only maybe 150 MS.
That's not too bad.
But this is unfortunate as this is the grand finals, and for the first time all tournament, we have some technical problems.
Yeah, it's everyone.
I remember at the start of the tournament when there was that 1 hour delay for the first match. Everyone's like, "Oh no, SMM once again."
Yeah.
Be like SMM with all these technical problems, but the tournament has run really well.
Yeah, it has.
A few delay, a few breaks, but that was part of the schedule. I mean, most of it was part of the schedule, and it hasn't actually had any legitimate problems so far.
Yeah, I've been really happy with the durations, just like hopping in from game to game. I mean, sometimes we have to sit there for 30 minutes or had to play chess for an hour or something like that, but it's always kind of fun, and people are sticking around anyway, so that was always pretty great. Let's look at some interesting stats. I'm going to press F4, looking at the gold per minute here. Morphling sitting at 464, 293 on the Batrider, 316 on the Puck. Viper at 419, 264 on Nature Prophet, 373 in Shadow Shaman, and 261 on Windrunner. So those are the big hitters, but Windrunner actually significantly low here. Only at about 10k gold earned so far this game. A little bit lower than a lot of the other players.
Yeah, the Windrunner is actually fallen behind the Prophet, even though it was the Windrunner farming in that bottom lane. But as said, come mid-game, Prophet generally just naturally gets farmed because he doesn't have to go ganking with his team because of the 20-second cooldown TP. But right now, Morphling is going to be the one that everyone's going to be watching to carry this game, and he's going to be the one that oriented to make sure they don't get too out of control in these team fights.
Players are disappointed. I am not surprised. One item I wanted to point out: Nature's Prophet sitting on an Ultimate Orb, and yeah, that was just spectator. I assume you realize.
Yeah. Well, I believe the admin is in the spectator chat.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So yeah,
They figured out. Nice.
yeah. So once this Nature's Prophet, he's actually very close to a sheep stick. Maybe this is what Orange is waiting for here to pick up that sheep. He's got 2,900, so he needs another 800 or so, or 700. Yeah, 700. 700 gold, and he's going to have his sheep stick done. And then they're just going to have to disable that Lincoln's, and they may be able to burst down the Morphling. But I don't think it's going to be easy. He does have a lot of HP and so much damage here. He's actually sitting at about 2k right now. Not too happy with just absolute max agility, apparently. He's a little bit worried about dying. Understandably, they do have a lot of damage potential. And of course, that Rasta, those disables are just going to be really, really important when it comes to the team fights.
I'm just talking with the admin now. He's